This is Capturing Light, episode number 166 with Nathan Blaze.
Welcome to Capturing Light, a director of photographers podcast, spotlighting cinematography tips, tools, and techniques, inspiring and educating filmmakers like you so you can illuminate your vision. And now, your host, Les Gaddis.
Welcome to the Capturing Light podcast, boys and girls. I'm your host, Les Gaddis, and today I'm talking to an old friend. He is an amazing filmmaker, director, DP, Nathan Blaze. And I say director, DP, I mean, he's like director, DP, audio extraordinaire, like editor. I mean, he kind of does it all. But we're going to be talking about his first feature that he has coming out soon, Run. Yeah, I mean, it was a great conversation, and hopefully this inspires you. You know, like if you haven't, got much work under your belt, but you feel like you have what it takes to get a feature done, then this episode might be the one that you want to listen to, because Nathan has been doing it for a really long time, but decided to step out and do his first feature. So I'm super proud of him. Here's that conversation with Nathan Blaze. All right, so I want to thank Nathan Blaze for coming on the Capture and Light podcast. How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. I'm excited to chat with you because we've worked quite a bit together, and you have a feature that you're working on and that will be coming out in the future. But before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about like your beginnings, kind of how you got started in filmmaking, and then like kind of just your evolution into where you are today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just let's see, it started just from watching movies. I mean, like most people, started watching movies and just starting to see like the behind the scenes stuff, whenever you're watching a movie and you could go watch the special features and stuff and see how they made it. Um and so I was like, I don't know, maybe 14 when I kind of started thinking this is cool. And then shortly after that, a couple years later, like my brother took the video class at high school, and so
Mm-hmm.
I needed a elective too. So I was like, all right, I'll do that too. That could be fun. So and we did have fun, and we liked it a lot. And so um, we went to a trade school for our senior and junior years. They had just built a trade school in our district, and they're like, if you want to do, any sort of electives there, you can. And so we decided to do the next basically step in the audio video. It was an audio video class, uh,
Mm-hmm.
grade school class. So we both went and did 2 years there, and that's kind of how we got our feet like wet when it comes to really kind of getting, because like we had done like kind of stuff like self like school projects stuff just for fun. I'm just kind of basically testing things out. That was like right when DSLRs started becoming really big. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we got our first camera, I think that what we used. Um, I mean, the first camera we used was like our mother's camcorder that she had, family camcorder, type of thing. And then um, we got in high school, we both bought our own Rebel T3Is,
Mm-hmm.
Canon T3Is. So I just started shooting all kinds of little things with those. And then and while we're at the trade school, we bought our first like cinema camera. I think it might have been our senior year. We bought the Blackmagic original 2.5K micro four thirds cinema camera.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was like Blackmagic was kind of like new, like into that kind of thing. And just started shooting stuff. Started working around out of school, working on sets and making videos for people. Then we kind of went straight into like 2014, end of 2013. It was December 2013. We started doing this anthology film for a local reenactor slash historian named Stuart Lawrence, and
Mm-hmm.
that was like our first time taking on like a big project. And I was like 19 and he was like 17 when we did that, and so we kind of got a lot of experience on like what it's like to produce and direct, like not just you and your friends,
Right.
which was cool. And we learned a lot and we loved it. And so from there, we just kind of kept working on sets and then the local DFW film world, and then started to expand, and now kind of work wherever. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then so like all of the crewing on the different sets and like working, were you were you writing like original content? Like how did you get from, I guess, like all of the work that you've done in crewing and traveling and doing all the things that you were doing in film to now working on this feature run that we'll talk about?
yeah, so like we started off like doing our own stuff. We did the front, and when that was the anthology.
Hmm.
And so when we did that, like originally the idea was for YouTube, like an anthology, which we probably should have done because it would have worked better. But we kind of just made it all into like an anthology film. Um, but yeah, it was like an anthology series, and so we did that, and from that we got like a lot of people that were like wanting us to come and work with them on stuff, and so we kind of started directing and producing stuff with other people, other productions, a lot of first time filmmakers, that kind of thing. You got a lot of that in the indie film world, seems like. So
Hmm.
um, from that, we got a gig where I was approached to direct which ended up being a Kevin Sorbo and James Russo and Stella Savante movie called The Penitent Thief. And at the time, I wanted to kind of focus more on TPing, and so
Hmm.
I was like, I'll let my brother direct this if you're interested in him. And so they're like, yeah, that'd be great. And they're like, and then I'll DP it. And so um, I DP'd that movie. And then we just kind of started basically producing, directing, and DPing for different projects. Um, then kind of like I stopped kind of doing that, and I kind of just for at least like 6 7 years just started just crewing,
Hmm.
just because like in my own personal experience, like there was just some not so great experiences when it comes to like kind of being in a producer type role, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna focus on crewing because
Hmm.
I'm just kind of tired of dealing with this kind of stuff. I just want to go and work on sets, and then eventually make my own stuff and produce my own stuff, work my own stuff. So that was always the plan, and then this just is now that time. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So like at the beginning of you working on Run, was it just you like kind of working on it? Was it you and your brother? Like how
Oh
did
yeah.
it
So the
kind of
very
start?
beginning, yeah. So the very beginning runs the way it started was I was supposed to do a different movie that
Okay.
I that one took me a lot longer to write. That took me like 9 years, 9 months. I'm sorry, not years, 9 months at least.
Yeah.
And I still don't know that it's done. I still want to like make sure it's right. And then while I was doing that, I was planning on shooting that this year, 2025. And but I wanted my brother to come in and like DP and stuff. But he
Hmm.
was busy with a couple other movies. And so, I was just like, man, like if I can't make this one now, I need to come with something else. And so I just came up with another idea for a movie.
Hmm.
Came up with an idea for a movie, and I was like, I'm gonna make one because that was a little bit bigger, kind of like as an idea and stuff. And so And I already like did line producing for it and like figure out how much it's going to cost and everything. I was like, this is gonna cost me a lot of money, which is totally fine. Like, I'm like, well, if I want to do this one, let me think of like a smaller idea, a more intimate movie that will have a smaller budget. And I can do that this year while he's doing that. And then he did end up coming up and helping doing some producing and cam opping and stuff for me toward the tail end of it. So we did get to work together, which is awesome because there's been a couple times where it's been like a year that we haven't been able to work together just because of our work schedules. So it's kind
Right.
of like nice to have him, my other basically half there. When you're a brother, like sometimes I don't know. Do you have a brother?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like sometimes like what they're thinking already.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's
For
easy to
sure.
work with, because I don't have to say a lot and he already knows like what we need to do. And
Yeah,
so
so did you like while you were in production, were you cam mopping as well until like he kind of come came and started helping with some of the cam mopping, or like how much of it, I know on smaller features and things, it's like you have to wear
yeah.
multiple hats. Like
Oh, I was wearing multiple hats. I don't know hats. I mean, if I'm just gonna be honest, I was writer, producer, director, DP, AD, sometimes makeup, you know, DIT sometimes. It was one of those movies where um I wasn't able to shoot it all in one block because
hmm
I wanted to do it right and I didn't want to I want to make sure I had enough days to do it right. And luckily enough, I got like basically one of the reasons why I made this movie too is I just want to make a movie with my friends,
hmm
and have fun, but still make a good movie. And so I knew like they're my friends, and so like I can rely on them to be like, hey, like if we need to do another day, they'd be down to do it. And so a lot of people worked on this movie and just put 110% of um, you know, their skill in it and everything, their time. And so yeah, to answer your question, I did wear multiple hats. I did have it was really interesting because like I had a lot of first timers in this. So I mean, technically this would be my first feature directing. And
hmm
my my lead, this was her first leading role. uh,
Right.
and then my villain, this was his first time being a villain in a film. And then my sound mixer, this was her first time being a sound mixer on a feature. She's kind of like been like shadowing me on
hmm
sets. She's really interested in doing sound, and so we've done a couple of sets together. And so I was like, well, specifically my AC and my sound mixer. I was like, in the very beginning, when I was thinking, okay, if I need to do another movie, let me think of who I would bring on. And I was like, I messaged them both, and I was like, hey, like, because we do a lot of movies together.
hmm
And I was like, other people's movies. And I was like, hey, if you guys want to make a movie, because they kind of like expressed that they were interested in like working more and like kind of growing in their roles.
hmm
And so I was like, if you guys want to like make a movie, like I mean, I have basically all the stuff to make a movie. I have like equipment wise, so I have cameras, I got audio, I got a small lighting kit. You know, I just need some crew. And so I was like, if you guys are down to do this, like I'm down to do this. And they're like, yeah, like we really want to do it. Like they're very interested. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so then we just kind of got into it. Um,
That's awesome. How many days did you shoot for?
well, we just finished. So we started an Indiegogo campaign to do some finishing for our opening ending scene.
hmm
It's still alive, but we went ahead and I was able to get some private funding and we were able to use it to get the last days of production. So we just literally yesterday shot those two scenes. In total, we've had 22 days. Um,
Okay.
yeah, 22 days of production. So
That's awesome. And for the camera techie people, like what did you shoot on? Like what?
Yeah,
Lenses, cameras, all that.
I had a small budget, so I really wanted to get some nice lenses, but I had to use what I had. So
Mm-hmm.
lens wise, we used Rokinon Cine DS Prime
Mm-hmm.
lenses. But for camera, we had my brother's Red Epic Dragon 6K, and so we
Okay,
shot.
cool.
Yeah, shot that.
Um, and for the like when you were shooting, were you just shooting straight with the lenses? Did you have any filters, or anything with the lenses?
Not any filters. I really like I said, this was really low budget, and so I really just kind of used. I guess this will be interesting. So like when I made this movie, I literally made it specifically and wrote it to like, what do I have that I could put in this movie so I can like make it right.
Right.
So that's literally how I wrote it. And so, but to answer your question, no, I didn't have any. All I had was some obviously NDs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but no glimmer glass or anything like that. It was just ND. So
Cool. So one thing that I'm super curious about, after watching the trailer is the mouse.
yeah,
Like, how, like, was that initially, like, if you talk about like having stuff that you have access to, like when you were coming up with this idea, like you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna like start working with animals, which is a whole nother challenge, when you have animals or kids, or like, how did that come
yeah.
about?
Well, it came out a couple of ways. One, like I need something to be like that the audience would connect to. I need something that would be kind of heartwarming because like it is kind of like a in ways it's a darker movie. It's like, kind of like not the happiest of times, right? It's not the world.
Hmm.
And so there need to be some hope in there, right? And so and then I also needed like just because this is a small budget film that was self-produced and financed. I was like, what can I do to make all these things happen? How can I have something that's heartwarming, that gives you some hope, and that like will engage your audience and they'll like um and will also help me save money. And so it's like, what if I had like a sidekick like animal? And then I thought of like a mouse because growing up I had mice when I was growing up and stuff. So I was like familiar like with kind of how they are and how they work and stuff.
Hmm.
And so I was like, that would work easily. Like I could easily do that. And so yeah, that's kind of how the idea of Squeaks the mouse came along. And honestly, she's it's a girl, but in the movie it's a boy. And so
Hmm.
she is so she was so good. Like honestly, like that was one thing a lot of people were like kind of like apprehensive about was like, I don't know if the mouse thing is gonna work, blah 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 blah. And like, granted, they don't know necessarily because I don't think I told everyone that like, oh yeah, I've had mice like growing up, so like I know like they're easy to kind of deal with. Um, but yeah, that was a question a lot of people had, but it worked really well.
Yeah.
I was very happy with Squeaks' performance. So.
Awesome. So we talked about production. I know you said you just shot, so you're in post right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how long do you think the post will take? When do you think estimated you might, release the film, and kind of like, can you talk us through your post ideas?
I can. So right now in post we have a rough cut and I have um basically now that we've shot the rest of the movie, like I just literally last night I started putting together the scenes we shot. So we'll have like a full rough cut, this week probably. So like we have a rough cut, we just didn't have the ending scene. And then I did an additional opening scene for the film that is kind of like just a really cool way to open the film. And so I have those two to put in, and then we'll have a finished rough cut complete. And then right now I have a really good composer that's already started working on the composition, the score. Um, and then so I need to get post production done. I need to get the score to be finished. Those are like the two big post things that have to get completed. And then John's going to my brother John is going to color it because he's also a colorist.
Mm-hmm.
Color the trailer, and so
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Well, I mean, everything looks great. I mean, like the trailer was I was in, the look of it, the sound of it, like it definitely had, I think, all the elements to keep someone engaged for sure. Um, so like if you were if someone that never like met you but saw the trailer and wanted to get some advice from you, like knowing that you have worn multiple hats, that you like created this movie, like what type of advice would you give someone that might not have had a lot of crewing experience, but they're like, oh man, I really want to make a film? Like, what advice would you give them?
You have to have endurance. If you're working with a low budget movie, that you're wanting to produce or direct, like just be prepared to work a lot. If you don't have a ton of funding and if you don't have a ton of experience, luckily I had like a lot of experience. So, I was able to do a lot of things because I've been working since 2013, kind of basically in the industry. So, um, but yeah, just like kind of just be prepared because like there's just going to be things that have to get done that you don't have someone to do because you just don't have the budget to hire them. And so you just got to go and get stuff done. I got this movie like a lot of it's very common for me on when I'm in production, especially and pre-production, it's just like 20-hour days,
Mm-hmm.
or less, I mean, or more. I think on average, I got like between three, just maybe six if I was lucky. I was just like, so
Right.
no, it's just one of those things. It's just, things have to get done. The movie has to get made, and someone has to do it. And if you're wanting to be a director and lead that way on an indie film, then that's just something that's going to have to happen. Um, but besides that, I would say the other thing is like you have to have like key positions of crew that like you can rely on and that can do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like I kind of made this movie without like the people I had in my crew, and so um, as much as stuff as like maybe I had done and like you will do on your movie, you
Mm-hmm.
still like you can't do everything, and so you have to have some really good crew, and so just like make sure that you find those people. So
Yeah. So where can people like keep up with you? Where can they find out more about Run? Like how do they keep up with you and the project?
yeah, yeah. So there's a couple of things. We have an Instagram page, Ron movie official underscore. Um, and on there, I'm pretty active. So you go on there and find the movie. Right now, we are still trying to raise funds for the post and stuff and marketing distribution and everything. So you can go and check that out too on Indiegogo. That's where we're doing it. Let me think. Uh, and then yeah, so I mean, I'm on Instagram too, Nathan Blaze Films. Uh, I mean, I use Facebook too, but we have a Facebook page, Blaze Buzz Productions. I haven't made a page for the film, but I've been promoting the film through our Blaze Buzz Productions
Mm-hmm.
Facebook page. So we're also on there. So that's where you guys can find me. So
Okay, cool. And I'll make sure to put everything in the show notes too, so then that way like they can follow the Instagram, the Indiegogo and like,
yeah,
support, so that way we can, get run to
yeah.
the finish line for sure.
Yeah, and the good thing is like I've said this to a couple of people, like whether or not it gets fully funded, like the movie will get done. Like it's just one of those things. It's like there's a way that like I would love for it to be done, and there's the ways that it can get done.
Hmm.
It's like okay, we're gonna have to cut the marketing budget. which is like, that's one thing that, a lot of people don't think about as much because it's not as fun, unless you like that type of thing.
Right.
But being artists, like usually you're not so inclined to that side. But then it's like, okay, well then we have to cut the marketing budget. It's like, okay, maybe we have to cut this, cut that, and so anyways, it'll get done. It'll still be awesome.
It will get done, and it definitely will be awesome. Nathan, I
Come too
appreciate
far.
you. Yeah, you're too far now. I mean, you got the movie in the can. All you have to do is just, and I make it sound like it's so easy. It's a lot of work. But I have total faith in you and and your team, your brother. Like I know it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So I appreciate you for coming on the Capture Light podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So again, I want to thank Nathan for coming on the Capture Light podcast. Be sure to follow him. Go and support Run. It's really close to being done. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me at Les Gaddis on Instagram. It's been a while since I've asked people to subscribe to the podcast, so I'm going to do it now. If this is your first time listening and you haven't subscribed, then subscribe on whatever podcast player you're listening to. And I will try to get more episodes out as quickly as I can with as crazy as my schedule has been. Yeah, but that's all I got. I look forward to, upcoming podcasts. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next episode of Capturing Light.
Thanks for listening to Capturing Light with Les Gaddis, a Director of Photographers podcast. Inspiring and educating filmmakers like you so you can illuminate your vision. A Gaddis Visuals production.